This is the Astros Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Houston Astros, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, the Houston Astros look like a ball club that could use the All-Star break. And guess what? They're going to get the All-Star break now, but they go into it on a sour note this afternoon as they fall to the Texas Rangers by a final of 5-1 and have a crummy homestand to boot where they win just one game out of six after going on the road and winning 5 games out of 6 in the previous road trip. The exact opposite once they come back home at a place where they've played, pretty darn unbelievable baseball overall this season, but that was not the case for the last few days. Hello and welcome to the Locked On Astros Postcast. I'm your host, Michael Connor. If you're new to our show, thank you for joining us. Welcome. If you are watching this later on, appreciate it. Make sure that you subscribe to the page. Make sure, of course, you're listening to this wherever you get your podcast as well. Search for the Locked On Astros Podcast. This is available right there on that same page. Today's episode of the show is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app today. Create an account and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase at Gametime. Well, what is there to get to from this one today? The number one thing you'll be walking away from this one talking about.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Unfortunately, the number one thing is that Hunter Brown kind of limps into the All-Star break. He had an incredible first half of the season, but once again today, not his sharpest. Did get through 5, did strike out 8, but gave up 4, and really kind of struggled to get command of his pitches today overall. This is a guy that's been, overall incredible. That's 2 consecutive starts now where it's not been all that great. Did get through some innings in both of them. Went 6 in his last one against Cleveland, gave up 6 runs. Went 5 today and gave up 4. So the question is, and I've brought this up not too long ago, you go through these moments in the regular season, and starting pitchers you talk to any of them in Major League Baseball, they'll tell you this. At some point during the season, your arm starts to go dead. And it's not like dead where it's never going to come back, but just the buildup on it from spring training to now, it just feels heavy, and you don't get the same life that you typically get on stuff, or you just don't feel like you completely have it when you go out there. He could be going through a little bit of that. I did think that today he was very predictable. He's a fastball heavy pitcher. Right now his fastball is not completely blowing guys away in the last couple of starts. It's going to happen. It's a regular season. You make 30-something starts a year. You're going to have multiple starts throughout it where you go out there and you don't completely have it. They're just like hitters. We talk about this all the time. Pitchers are just like hitters from the standpoint they're going to struggle at some point during the regular season. They're going to have a game here or there where it's not good. Hunter Brown he's allowed to have a bad game. He's allowed to have a bad couple of games. It's not great when they come consecutively at home ahead of the All-Star break, where you just kind of expected the Astros to come home, and really it goes back to the Cleveland series. You didn't expect to be swept, and then you didn't expect this to be 2 bad games and one good one that ended in a good result last night. Sorry we did not do a show last night. We went to dinner, and then, it was too late at that point. I did watch it, but we did not get back to make it in time to do a show last night. I wish we had, because I would have had something good to talk about with a walk-off win, but sometimes it happens. Sometimes you got to have a night out with your wife and some friends. But Hunter Brown struggled again today. And I think, we've watched this pitcher take a massive leap forward this year and become an ace of a staff and become one of the top 3 Cy Young candidates in the American League. Not the winner right now. It'll go to Skubal, but he's going to get a lot of votes. He's going to finish at least top 3 in the voting. And, I think one of the things that kind of differentiates you as you get to that stage and what takes you to that next level of it once you get there is being even better with your secondary stuff. His fastball's become more electric. Last year, switching over to throwing the sinker was big for him. And, He gets a lot of outs with that. He gets a lot of ground ball outs as well. He's going to have to differentiate at least his game plan and how he attacks at times. And the Astros, they're going to see that and they're going to adjust and they're going to make the things. But I think there just needs to be a little bit more usage at times of secondary stuff because the secondary stuff is good as well. Didn't land a lot of it today. I just thought really more than anything else today, his command was not unbelievable. So he wasn't great. The Rangers got some runs off of him, 4 of them, and that was all they needed because on the other side of things, Eovaldi today absolutely dominated. And we know that guy is capable of doing that. We've seen it before. He's had an incredible season for the Rangers so far this year. He's got an ERA. It's like 1.5 almost on the year. He was awesome for Texas. Yeah, that's a team that is completely underachieved based off of their pitching this season. I didn't watch them at all this weekend and think they're going to have some second half kind of charge. They very well. I mean, they could play better baseball, but I'm not going to sit here and it's not because I don't like them. I'm completely admitting that there's nothing about them to me that screams they're a team to like freak out about in the second half. The team to watch out for, of course, is the Mariners, who are going to go into this break, by the way, behind the Astros 5 games. And, they've just got the Mariners have a little bit more talent overall than Texas does. So can the Rangers get into the wild card mix? I mean, they're in the wild card mix in the American League. They are, I think, the 3.5 games out in the wild card. So there's that. We're going to see what the Astros look like out of the break. First of all, can they get some guys back healthy? They got to get guys back healthy. We've talked a lot about that. They've pieced this together. It's been pretty incredible considering how many guys they've lost. They've been able to win at the clip that they have. But they got to get to a point, hopefully sooner rather than later where Jordan does come back. They've got to get Pena back in this lineup. It's no offense to the Taylor Trammels and the Cooper Hummels and the Zach Shorts. Long term, the Astros will not win at a high clip with those guys in the lineup on an everyday basis. They just won't. They also won't win on a long-term basis or win at a high clip if the guys that are in the lineup don't do things. And I'm really going to single out one guy again. He came back from paternity leave and really did absolutely nothing over the weekend, which was Christian Walker. I mean, it's just I get more disappointed by the day at how awful that guy has been this season. So I feel like I have to give my obligatory shot at him, but I think it's deserving considering the way that he's played. Now, though, they get some rest, and they're going to need some rest. Let's talk about that here in a minute, and let's talk about the second half of the season, the unofficial second half of the season coming out for the Astros here in a brief moment on the Locked On Astros Postcast after the loss. Before we do that, what we're going to be talking about, let me tell you about Gametime. You got to get over there. Now, look, we've all been there, logging on early, waiting forever for concert tickets to go on sale, only to lose your spot to a show you've been dying to see. Live music should be about making memories, not dealing with the stress of ticket shopping. That's where Gametime comes in. Gametime makes getting concert tickets easier than ever. Prices actually drop as it gets closer to showtime, and you can save up to 60% off with their killer last-minute deals. Tired of endless scrolling, trying to find the best deal? Gametime's zone deals pick the best seats in your section for you. Ever wonder what your view will look like before you buy? Well, the app shows you a panoramic view, so there's no surprises. With Gametime, the price you see is the price you pay. No hidden fees. Worried about what happens if the plans change? Gametime Guarantee has your back with cancellation protection and more. Take the guesswork out of buying concert and show tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Locked On Astros Postcast after the 5-1 loss to the Texas Rangers this afternoon to wrap up the pre-All-Star break portion of the schedule. The Astros will be coming back after the break and looking to get on a little bit of a better note, because that was a sour note to end what was overall a really great first half of the season. First half of the season that's seeing the Astros pace towards high 90s in wins this year, pacing towards another American League West title. They come out of the break. It's a big one coming out of the break. Big series, by the way. They're going to face the Mariners up in Seattle, the 18th, 19th, and 20th. So that's going to be the next weekend. Late night baseball for a couple of them. They're staying out West Coast-ish for a minute. They'll be out there. Then they'll head to Phoenix before coming back home for homestand where they should feast against I did it against the Athletics and then the Washington Nationals for 7 games on that one. Now, the significant part of this is that the MLB draft is going to happen tonight. And after the MLB draft happens, I think you'll see a lot of teams start to go ahead and make some moves and whatnot. And we've talked about it. The Astros had to make some moves to help this team out. They got to get another bat in there somewhere. Hopefully a left-handed bat, because this team has lacked left-handed punch all season long. And it's like I mentioned, it's an important portion of the schedule. What they have to do now, though, is take advantage of these few days off. They've got guys going to Atlanta. Hunter Brown's not going to pitch. I hope that Josh Hader doesn't pitch. I'm sure Isaac Paredes will get into the game. It's only his second one. Pena's obviously not going to play. He's hurt. But I hope that most of the guys just honestly lay in bed and relax. Don't go do anything crazy, which I'm sure that they won't. They'll go out and have family time and whatnot and all those things. But they need the break. They absolutely need the break. Cam Smith is the guy to me that towards the end of this homestand looks like he needs the break. Christian Walker, who stinks, needs a break. Got to get his head right. He can go, well, hopefully for him, he can go and enjoy his new baby. So I'm happy for him there. I'm not happy with the way that he plays. But they got to take advantage of it and then come back and go ahead and, got to get going from the jump. It's a big series in Seattle. I think you got to take at least 2 out of 3 in that one. So, of course, we'll see what happens there. Between now and then, there will be no Astros Postcast. Of course, we will not be in action for this show until next Friday night. Don't worry, though, you can still find me for a couple nights this week. If you're interested in some Texans discussions, we're getting closer to the start of training camp in the NFL. Head over to the Locked On Texans YouTube page. Twice this week, the Locked On Texans Squad show, which I host with Stan Norfleet, John Hickman, and Aisha Morrison. We are live Tuesdays and Fridays, 6 p.m. is our lunchtime for those shows. So come and join us this weekend over there on that channel. I hope you guys enjoy the All-Star break. Relax. Enjoy your time away from baseball as well. You deserve it too. It's a tough end to it. We'll talk again on this show next Friday.